All right, welcome back everyone to day 3 of Shopify Crash Course. Today we're going to be diving into products and collections. So let's dig in. I'm actually going to cover them in 2 separate videos just so we can dive a little bit deeper into some little gotchas here and there of both products and collections. So when you log into your Shopify store, this is the screen you'll always be greeted with. As you can see, we've got our gratitude pack domain up here because we haven't added the new domain yet. And we have our navigation along the left-hand side. So for products and collections, they're both going to be under the top level navigation of products. So when we go ahead and click on products, you'll see that we don't have any products there yet. It's a brand new store, so we're going to go ahead and add 2 or 3 from scratch. We're going to add 2 or 3 different packs, and then we can resort them into different collections afterwards. When we hit collections, I'm going to show you a little bit more of what collections actually are and the 2 ways that you can organize those. But as far as products go, there's one way to add and one way to organize products by default. Things can get a little more advanced when we have different types of products, but for the sake of the introductory crash course, one type of product, but we can have multiple types of collections. Okay, so we go ahead and add product. Now I'm going to go through this whole page and go through every field and let you know where this field shows up on the site, if it shows up at all, and the functionality that this field has sort of behind the scenes as well too. So starting at the top, you'll see titles. So the title is the name of the product, and this is going to be pulled in everywhere. So this is going to be pulled in anywhere that the product is listed, usually on the collection page, maybe on the home page if it's listed there. Definitely on the individual product page, and anywhere online that you're linking to the product, the title is the first thing that's going to show up. So you want this to be what your product is recognized by. So we're going to do pack 1, just so we can differentiate the packs from each other. We also have the description down here. Now the description will 100% show up on the individual product page, and it will show up in search engines. It may show up in other areas of the site depending on the theme. So it could show up in like sort of a quick purchase light box, which we're going to look at a bit later. It can show up on the home page. It could show up on the collection page. Those may vary theme to theme. It will always show up on the individual product page, and it will always be picked up by search engines. So keep that in mind. There's a basic editor here for the description. So we have all these elements we can use: underline, bulleted lists, alignment, things like that as well too. You can change the color of the text if you like to. There's a few elements also that come in handy. The table also comes in handy if you have clothing that you need different sort of like sizing charts for and things like that. You can also add images as well as video, like how-to videos as well too. This clear formatting also comes in handy because if you're copying and pasting descriptions that came from elsewhere, so if it came from Google Docs or it came from a Word document, or if it came from Notion, it will pick up the formatting as soon as you paste it in here. So clear formatting can be handy when you go to paste content in. So we're just going to put in something short: build your pack, beginner edition, build your gratitude habits. Okay, great. Now we're getting down to media. You might be wondering what the difference is between adding an image or video up here and then adding actual media. Well, the media presents typically in a carousel beside the description. So you can go through the carousel. The media is also tied to the variants. We're going to get into variants a little bit later, but just know that images can be tied to certain variants. For example, if you're selling t-shirts and you have orange, blue, and purple, you can have 3 images here: orange, blue, and purple. And then in the drop down, when they go to select, say they want to select orange, it's not only going to pull up the orange image here, but when you go to checkout, that variation of orange will be tied to that orange picture that you assigned it to. It may sound confusing. I'll get a little bit into it later, but keep in mind that this media you add up here has to do with the entire product, but just know the media you add in here can be specified for individual variations of the product. Okay. Let's add some images. You can either click add file and it'll pull up a selection from your computer, or you can go ahead and drag and drop images. I downloaded a few from Unsplash, so shout out to Unsplash. I'm going to throw them in here and then I will show you what the different sizes mean. If you're pulling in images from somewhere else, you can also add images from the URL. You can also embed a YouTube video as well too. They all act exactly the same. So once they're imported, whether it's a video, an image, or an image pulled in from a URL, they'll work the same way when they come in that they can be resorted and they can be applied to different variants. So the reason why you're seeing 3 different sizes here is because this main one is going to be the initial image that shows up when the page is loaded. So make sure you have the first one that best represents that product. I'm going to move this one over here because since it's like a card pack that we're selling, I'm going to have the card front and center. So you can drag and drop to rearrange these as well too. If you want to delete them, you can just check the upper right corner and delete media as well. Great. So we've added our media in. Let's go down to pricing. So the pricing here, if we're selling a pack, maybe let's go $20. It's $20 a pack. This price is the one that shows up on the front end of the website to anyone who's visiting the store. We also have cost per item. The cost per item is how much it costs you as a vendor to create that product. Now, there could be a lot of elements that come together, so this might need a calculation as well. So maybe it's like $2 for the cards themselves. For all the cards to be shipped to you, maybe that's 50 cents per pack. So you may have to calculate those things on your own as well too, but this is the cost that it gives you. So let's say they cost $4 to make. Then you'll see what happens here, taking the pricing and the cost per item, it calculates the margin and the profit. So this is a really handy calculation to have, and this will work into your reports when you go to print off your reports. So the cost per item is optional. You can sort of keep your own accounting books separately, but I do like to have an accurate cost in here because at a glance and at some quick reports, you're able to see your margin and profits as well. This is checked by default. Sometimes there's products that you don't charge tax on. We are going to charge tax on this. And finally, the compare at price. So the compare at price, it's an interesting way of them doing this. So basically this means when the item is on sale, we would use the compare at price. So this is not the sale price. This is the original price. So this is $20 and then this one would become $15 because it's the sale price. I know that seems a bit counterintuitive, but the best way to remember is always know that the price is the one that's going to be added to the cart. So this is going to be sort of, I want to say the source of truth that's going to be brought into the cart and that people are going to check out. So what this means is that it's normally $20, so you're comparing it to the regular price, but it's on sale for $15. $15 is what they're going to be charged at the cart because that's what they're going to be charged on a sale. So it's going to recalculate our margins accordingly as well too. So if you're running a sale, regular price goes in the compare at, and this price that you want to sell it for is in the price box. So as long as you remember whatever the product is being sold for at that point in time, that's what's going in the price box. That's the best way to remember it. Okay, inventory. So for inventory, there's a few different items, and this depends a lot on how your systems are going to run, whether you're using an external warehouse, whether you're using an internal warehouse, or if you're selling products from a third-party vendor. There's a lot of factors that might have to do with the inventory levels here. So SKU is a stock keeping unit. It doesn't request these to be 100% mandatory, but I would highly, highly recommend, even if you have a small stock of products, that you have SKUs. These allow you to stay organized as your store grows. Not only can you stay organized with these, but should you ever have to go to a warehouse, these can indicate where in the warehouse your products are kept, where they need to be picked from to really optimize the shipping process and the inventory tracking process as well. We also have barcodes. It's useful if you're selling books. So you definitely have the code of the ISBN number from the book as well. If you're selling third-party products, it can be really valuable to have the barcode from that product. Or if you have a warehouse that has scanning equipment, that you are putting a barcode on the back of your products, Make sure you have that recorded in here too as you go, because that can make the shipping, production, and fulfillment so much easier. It looks like this inventory section is just a couple boxes here, but setting this up, planning for growth and planning for the future is going to be hugely advantageous to you. So we also want to pop the quantity in here. Maybe we've got 100. Great. There are external fulfillment services and warehouses that will tap right into this and update this information automatically for you. So say you get a shipment in and this needs to automatically be updated. They have the ability to do that. But if you're running a store or running your own warehouse, sort of out of your home or a small warehouse yourself, you'll need to stay on top of this number to keep it updated. So after all this, we're definitely dealing with the physical product. Weight, you can choose any system you want in here that best represents the weights of your product. It is important to have accurate weight here because that's how shipping is going to be calculated. Customs information, country of origin. So if you're shipping products across the border, this is going to be important to have because it makes clearance go a little bit faster. All product categories have an HS code, so I'll give you the resource to be able to look up where your products could fit for that HS code, which could help clear them through customs faster and avoid getting your packages ripped open as well. So I'm going to come back to variants. We're going to do this last because it's one of the more complex aspects of products. I'm going to scroll back up to the top to look at the right-hand side here. So this is a fairly new, I'm just getting rid of that. This is a fairly new add-on to Shopify that they added probably within the last month or so. You can create draft products as they don't show up in your store yet. So you can start creating a product, save it as a draft if you don't want it to show up yet on your shop. But as soon as you want it to show up, you can set it to active and then it'll be available for purchase. And down here are the sales channels. Right now we just have online store set up as a sales channel. This is the one you're given by default, but of course there's others that you can add, like you can sell through Shopify Marketplace. You can hook it up to your Instagram to sell directly through Instagram using the Shopify cart, or you can hook it up to a POS, which is a point of sale sort of machine. It's like a checkout machine if you have a brick and mortar store as well. Right now we're just going to keep online store. So we've got it active for online store. And this is where we can start to organize the inventory of our product. So making sure that you have correct vendors, correct types of products. You can select collection from here, which we're not going to do right here. We're going to do that in the collections, and you can tag it accordingly as well too. So I highly recommend, this stuff is optional, but I highly recommend filling it out as you go, because once your shop grows, this can get overwhelming to sort of go backwards through and refill these in. So let's go. We've got a card pack, add that. Acme. Collections, we're going to do on the collection side of things. The tags are sort of what you think people might search for, what they could be classified by, and any other tags that you can think of. There's no limit to how many tags you can put in here. It is a way of organizing your product. So I would try to keep to the top, 6 to 8 tags of how you can foresee people potentially looking for your product by or looking for what categorization your products may fall in. All right, I'm just going to add 2 for now. Great. So now let's go and check out variants. Like I said, variants are basically multiple options for a single product. This is going to appear as a drop-down on the individual product page or one of those quick purchase pop-ups as well too. So let's say we do have variants here. We're going to click this to say yes. Option 1, they have a lot of the most popular ones here, especially for clothing. So color, material, style, title. I'm going to go with color, and maybe we have a blue pack. You can comma separate these as well. So you'll see as I start typing the names of the options, you're going to see a few fields come down here as well too. So blue, yellow, and you can hit enter or comma, orange, red. Okay. So when somebody goes to choose a color of the card decks, they're going to have these 4 options in a drop down to choose from. So that means it's one drop down that says color with these 4 elements of it. We can also add another one. Let's keep size. And maybe there's a small deck of cards and maybe there's a large one. Great. So this creates another drop down where you select either small or large. So that's an option for every order. But then now we come down here and see, though that creates a number of variants. We no longer have just 4, 5, 6 variants. We have variants that are every combination of these. So people can get blue in small, but also blue in large. They can get orange in large. So now we have all the combinations here. We're going to keep all these the same price, but maybe we only have 50 of the large blue, and maybe we only have 20 of the small yellow. So you can see here how we can get really granular on our inventory levels of each. Let's say 50. I'm just going to go down here. And I'm going to leave these 3 sold out. As soon as it hits 0, they won't be able to purchase these ones specifically, and they'll get a sold out notice. Now we also have the SKU, which is the stock keeping unit. Now that we've created all of these new combinations of products, this creates a new product. So the blue large is a brand new product. So these should also have individual SKUs. So maybe we've got, maybe the SKUs look something like this. Oh yeah, yellow, and so on, all the way down. So now from this one product we've created up at the top, I know we initially put a SKU for it, but these SKUs down here, depending on what selection they pick, will override the top SKU because these ones are more specific and more granular to that variation of the product. You can also set different price points. So maybe the small blue ones are the only ones that are on for $15. And you can go through and adjust the prices accordingly as well too. Dig in, play around with variants. There's a lot of different combinations that you can do there, and let me know if that makes sense. I'm going to save that up at the top and let's take a look. All right, preview. Awesome. Okay, let's check it out. So we have our images here in a carousel. Excellent. We've got our sale price of $15. This theme says save 5 instead of listing $20 as the original price. So keep that in mind too when you're checking out those themes. Everything's going to be a little bit different. Now we have the selection of yellow and large. I can't remember the ones that, yes. So it was the red that was sold out. So if we try to go red large, remember we had an inventory of 0 for that variant. So that one's sold out. But if I go to yellow large, we've got it here. We've got our description down below. Now the position of the description, the position of the buttons, this is all dictated by the theme. But generally these layouts are the same Shopify wide. So we've got our carousel on the left-hand side, our information on the right, sharing buttons on the bottom, navigation on the top, breadcrumbs here, and navigation and powered by Shopify at the bottom. So that's it for products. Let's dig into the next video for collections.